Hello, boys and girls. Your favourite fireman here. Oh, no. Holy smoke. Have you heard the news? I've been stopped from helping my brave friends in one fire service because I'm a man. Yup, I've been hosed because I'm a fella. Just what the blazes is going on with Lincolnshire Fire and Rescue Service? Well, they were quick to fire out their rationale that I'm not being inclusive enough. And I'm even putting women off pursuing a career as firefighters. Oh, those dolts clearly don't watch my show. Otherwise, they'd know about my friend, firefighter Penny Morris, who trained at Newtown Fire Academy with me and Elvis, and is now putting out fires in Pontypandy. No, this is plain and simple PC grandstanding. After all, if someone can be put off signing up to be a firefighter by a large foam mascot of a cartoon character, you have to ask if they're really up for the rigours of the job. But while this has got me climbing up the pole with anger, I'm not taking this lying down. I've had talks with Postman Pat and Father Christmas, and you can't rule out concerted strike action.
Nick,
I was interviewing the Prime Minister yesterday. It's quite former Prime Minister yesterday. I don't know how this happened.
I never heard a word you said because I couldn't stop watching your actions.
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, how do we go from there, Nick? Nick as Fireman Sam.
Do you think Fireman Sam puts women off becoming firefighters? Utter nonsense,
It's
isn't it?
ridiculous.
Good.
I mean, it's also, you've got to have male models and male role models and female role models. We've got Dora the Explorer and Postman Pat. Anyway, I mean, what I was thinking as you were doing that is, suddenly this image of the Grenfell fire, I mean, let's be serious for a second. I was reporting on the ground the day after the Grenfell fire town and in a few days after that. And I saw Danny Cotton, who's the female head of London Fire Brigade. I saw Cressida Dick on the streets. She's the head of the female head of the Met. I saw Theresa May on the street. She was the female Prime Minister at the time. She was shepherded around, you know, because she didn't have such a popular visit.
Yeah. And then the monarch arrived.
The fact that we have these female leaders completely means that this sort of debate is absolutely irrelevant. Of course, we don't need to have the kind of fireman. We love Fireman Sam. Let's get him back.
Thank you. I'm going to bring Karen in, but it's interesting that you would mention Dora the Explorer, because if we're not careful, this could happen. PC Pledgeville, we saw firefighter Sam Anther, postperson Patricia, my personal favourite, Bobby, the non-binary builder, and Doran, the generic explorer. Karen.
I love Fireman Sam. I think it's great, and our children have been brought up with Fireman Sam. And I just, as Rachel said, I mean, Danny Cotton, the London Fire Commissioner, is a woman. But here's the reality. Whether you look at the fire service in the UK, throughout England, 5.7% of firefighters are women. If you look at the armed forces, well, the statistics are there are very few women. In some cases, it's single digit, but it's certainly under 10%. Now, on the other hand, I've just been appointed an honorary group captain in the Royal Air Force, which I'm very proud of.
Indeed.
The RAF has just appointed an Air Marshal, Sue Gray, who's been appointed as an Air Marshal, the highest ranking woman in the armed forces, and that's happened this year. So, you know, we do have women at the very top.
Great.
You're going to love this, Nick, but I was chairman of the company that not only owned Fireman Sam, but we also owned Thomas the Tank Engine, right? So I know a bit about who they sell to, and there is no doubt they sell massively to boys. And to parents of boys and not to girls. They do sell.
Not a problem.
Well, when I was a journalist, we used to call things called flams that were semi-made up.
Well, Lincolnshire have accepted that they did it.
But you can understand. If you are the fire service from somewhere and you say we want to get more women, then you might do something like this and say we want to. That's not the best way of attracting women into the fire service.
Here's where I fear I might lose it, Carol. To you in a moment, where I might lose part of the room. The figure you quoted, 5.7. in some instances, some women simply won't be strong enough to be firefighters. The idea that they could carry me down a ladder, from a blazing building, very few women could do that. So we'll never get it to 50-50, and I don't think you thought it. We might not even get it to 15. That's the reality, Greg.
I was gonna say,
But this is the choice of an employer who's looking to change the mix. I mean, again, when I was at London Weekend, we did London's Burning, where we had a very strong female character. With part of the intention was to say, yeah, women can do this job.
Okay. Certain women can.
Very few women can. You know, the average weight of a woman 120 pounds? Could an average weight woman carry a fully charged fire hose, which weighs 100 pounds? Probably not. Could she carry it to a site half a mile away where the fire is? No, she couldn't. Could she get a bloke like you down a ladder? No, she couldn't. I'm sorry, but all this box ticking and quotas and diversity should not come in to fighting fires. The only thing that matters in firefighting is the ability to save lives. There was a government minister said recently that the fire service had to reflect the people it serves. No, it doesn't. It just has to put out fires and save lives. And if the best people to do that are blokes, well, then let them do it.
I agree with you. I'm 3/4 of the way to agreeing with you. But I could definitely put you in a fireman's lift and take you down several stories. No, I could.
Okay,
but wait, can I just say something?
Go now?
Can I pick up something that Greg said? Because when you and I were growing up, I mean, it was, you know, the punchline of the joke was the pilot or the doctor was a woman, you know, because it was assumed that if you're a pilot or a doctor, or a surgeon or a consultant, you're a man. And I think that, you know, it's interesting what Greg says, that we do still have very gendered professions. And actually, we're going to have to hear from Lincolnshire is to explain why they have taken this move to remove cuddly Fireman Sam. Can we just hear this is a must?
Hear that, please.
We're not using Fireman Sam at our fire station open days anymore, even though we believe the programme itself gets across importance fire safety messages to children. We feel using the mascot of Fireman Sam on his own doesn't reflect the fire service today. We'd much prefer people to come and talk to our fire crews and learn more about the valuable work they do.
Cool, you were reading that at speed, weren't you?
Yeah,
Karen, pick up on Carol's point. A fire service should reflect the community that they work with.
Well, to reinforce another point that you made, they have to pass very rigorous tests, physical tests, as well as other tests, to be able to do the job. And here's the irony. At the same time that the Lincolnshire Fire Service has done this, there's been a record number of female applicants, 700 for the fire service.
Yeah, but the applicants, the applicants don't always get through. In West Midlands, 36% of applicants they dropped away because they realised they couldn't do the fitness test. And we mustn't change the fitness test to accommodate women because that will cost lives.
Yeah, but some men fail the fitness test as well.
Well, of course they do.
And there are lots of other jobs in the fire service that can be done by women. I mean, we shouldn't, you know, this is...
We're talking about fighting fires,
no, you're talking about culture. You're talking about how do you encourage more women to go into certain sorts of jobs? And if that's the intention of the organisation in charge, then it's perfectly logical they've done this. But anyway, let's just have a quick listen to the guy who created Fireman Sam, a guy called David Jones.
Firefighter is an Americanism. It isn't the British way. It's like I'm a superhero character. We're not like that. We don't do it that way. So I think the Fireman Sam has done a very, very good job. Whether it's outdated, I don't know. Possibly it is. And then whether it would stop someone joining the fire brigade because it just is a fireman. We put fire women in there, by the way. I think that is, and the best word for that is nonsense.
Exactly.
It was Fireman Sam, of course, was originally made in Wales. It was made by S4C Wales.
The brand is now represented by Mattel, and this is what Mattel say. Fireman Sam is a much-loved and iconic brand. We're constantly evolving to make sure that we stay true to the show's heritage, as well as representing the world that children see around them today. The team are always referred to throughout the show as firefighters, except Sam, whose title has not evolved in his role as the show's namesake.
But
they originally all spoke Welsh, of course.
That's why I didn't want to do that intro.
Isn't it folly to pretend that women are equal to men in every aspect? They're not. Physically, they're not equal, and we can't pretend that they are and put them in a fire uniform and send them to fight fires if they're not physically capable of doing it.
Or men.
If they're not physically capable.
But we're not talking about... You know, in fact, you were talking about the amount of women coming in. 250 have joined since 2010.
Carol, would you like to see more girl children represented in children's cartoon programming, CBBS and whatnot, so that more girls see...
represented.
Well, they are, you know, I think... Well, the Teletubbies, it occurred to me, they were all gender-free, weren't they?
So are the tank engines, aren't they? I'm not sure. Well, obviously Thomas, but
Thomas is...
the others,
anyway.
they've got a whole variety.
But you don't think it's an issue? You don't think it makes a difference?
What?
Because we've got to what Greg says.
I mean,
if
I'm not aware of
if
women
boys
being
see
underrepresented.
Fireman Sam,
Dora the
they buy
Explorer.
all the
But
products.
I just think there are some jobs that women
Okay.
find it difficult to do.
I'm going to have to move us on. Rugby stars are normally known for their stellar performances on the pitch. But legend Gareth Thomas made history of a different kind this week after he became the first sportsperson in the UK to publicly reveal he is living with HIV. The former Wales captain says he was forced to make his diagnosis public after being blackmailed. But rather than be a victim, Gareth has now pledged to do all he can to support other people with HIV and help break the stigma surrounding the condition. Here is his brave admission.
I want to share my secret with you. Why? Because it's mine to tell you. Not the evils that make my life hell threatening to tell you before I do. And because I believe in you and I trust you. I'm living with HIV. Now you have that information, that makes me extremely vulnerable, but it does not make me weak. Now, even though I've been forced to tell you this, I choose to fight, to educate and break the stigma around this subject.
Gareth, there's no doubt in our minds, for your courage and conviction alone, you are our hero of the week.